On a routine hike through the rugged mountain terrain, Wesley stumbled upon an astonishing sight, an old camouflaged tank, a forgotten relic of Walthern by nature's embrace. Overcome by curiosity and the thrill of discovery, he managed to climb inside, eager to uncover remnants of its past stories and secrets. But what he discovered inside led to his immediate arrest. Wesley couldn't believe this was happening to him. He was innocent, for God's sake. He had tried to tell the officers, but they already had their judgment ready. Finally, after 30 minutes, his lawyer arrived. Knowing he wouldn't be able to talk himself out of this situation, he had requested one. But his case turned out to be a hard one to crack. The police had been looking for whatever Wesley found inside for a long time, and now that they had it in their hands, they wouldn't let go easily. But what did Wesley find inside the tank? Why was the police so eager to arrest him? And will he be freed? Before we start, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. When Wesley began his hike, he never expected to end up at the police station. He would often explore a new part of the forest close to his home, but this time he stumbled upon something he never in his wildest of his dreams imagined as defined. At first, he thought it was a random pipe sticking out of the muddy mountain wall, but little did he know it was something entirely different. As he neared what he thought to be a pipe, he realized there was a whole other piece it was attached to. It took him a minute to realize it was actually a tank because it was camouflaged too well with the mountain wall. So as Wesley slowly neared the tank, his mouth fell open. It seemed so familiar, but he wasn't sure from where. This was a tank used in the war all those years ago. It must have been there for decades. The realization sparked Wesley's curiosity even more. Who knew what could be hidden away inside the tank? It could be the find of his life and bring him a lot of money, but little did he know it would bring him more pain than joy. As he began to walk around the tank, he couldn't help but smile. He had to get inside. One thing Wesley didn't realize, though, was that he was being watched. "Target in sight," Officer Fernandez whispered through his radios. He was looking at Wesley through his binoculars, a few feet away from the tank. "Wait till my sign," he said to his men. "We have to catch him red-handed, or else this will all be for nothing." Meanwhile, Wesley couldn't believe his eyes as he slowly began to climb up the tank. He began to open the hatch carefully and soon after disappeared inside. The tank was dark and musty, so Wesley turned on the flashlight on his phone. When he finally saw what he had stepped into, it was already too late. The moment Wesley's eyes adjusted to the darkness inside the tank, he was blinded by several laser sights targeting him from police guns. As Wesley cautiously peeked out of the tank, the sight of 3 police officers with their guns pointed directly at him sent shivers down his spine. The moment Wesley's feet touched the ground, he was met by a swarm of police officers, moving in with precision and speed. The swift clasp of handcuffs around his wrists felt surreal, as if he was detached from the reality unfolding around him. Wesley was swiftly escorted into the back of a police car, his mind racing with unanswered questions. As Wesley watched, baffled and cuffed, a team of CSI experts swarmed the tank. They were all business, dusting for prints and collecting samples, completely ignoring Wesley's protests of innocence. The drive to the police station felt like the longest ride of Wesley's life. Pulling up to the police station, Wesley felt a relief and dread. Maybe now he'd get some answers. But the silent cop just let him inside, indifferent to Wesley's confusion and fear. Inside, Wesley was taken to an interrogation room, a stark, cold space that did nothing to ease his anxiety. The silence continued as he waited for someone anyway to come in and start asking questions. Finally, a detective entered, but Wesley's attempts to explain fell on deaf ears. It was like talking to a brick wall. He explained over and over that he was just hiking, that the discovery was accidental. But the detective's expression never changed, as if Wesley's words were just noise. As he sat in the back of the police car, the sequence of events played back in his mind like a movie, each detail making him more suspicious. How did they know to find him right then and there? It was as if they were waiting for him to make the discovery. In the station, Wesley overheard snippets of conversations about Officer Fernandez. Apparently, this case was Fernandez's big project, something he'd been working on for a long time. Wesley, still clueless about the larger picture, felt like a pawn in a game he didn't understand. In a moment of desperation, Wesley blurted out that he wanted a lawyer, thinking it might be his ticket out of the mess. But the moment the words left his mouth, the atmosphere changed. The officer's demeanor shifted, as if Wesley's request had confirmed their suspicions. Now he wasn't just a guy who found something, he was a guy who found something and needed a lawyer. Asking for a lawyer seemed to backfire immediately, Instead of helping, it made Wesley look guilty in the eyes of the police. Finally, Officer Fernandez entered the room, ready to grill Wesley about the tank. But every time Fernandez started on a line of questioning, Wesley's newly appointed lawyer cut him off, advising Wesley to remain silent. It was a strange feeling watching someone else take control of his narrative. Wesley wanted to explain to his side, but his lawyer's stern keep quiet look kept him silent. The lawyer's strategy was to keep him quiet, a tactic that Wesley hoped would eventually lead to his freedom. Out of the blue, Fernandez slammed a metal box onto the table with a loud clang, breaking the tense silence. He pushed it toward Wesley, demanding he open it. Wesley stared at the box, puzzled. He'd never seen it before, and certainly didn't have the key. The box, old and rusted, seemed to hold more questions than answers, adding another layer of mystery to his predicament. With a huff, Fernandez stormed out of the room, leaving the metal box behind. Wesley felt a mix of relief and confusion as the door slammed shut. He was left wondering what was so significant about the box. After Fernandez and his lawyer left, Wesley found himself alone with the mysterious box. He turned it over in his hands, examining every inch. Out of nowhere, Fernandez unlocked Wesley's cuffs and dragged him back to the car. Wesley, confused and anxious, tried to ask where they were going, but Fernandez stayed silent. The drive was silent, but charged with an unspoken fury emanating from Fernandez. He gripped the steering wheel tightly, his knuckles white, as if struggling to contain a storm within. They arrived back at the tank, now bathed in the harsh glow of forensic lights, making the scene look surreal. Fernandez practically threw Wesley out of the car and onto the ground. Under the bright forensic lights, Fernandez was all business, pressing Wesley to find the key to the mysterious metal box. Wesley felt like he was in a bad dream with the spotlight on him and the pressure mounting. Fernandez's impatience was palpable. His expectations clear, yet Wesley had no idea where to start. The key, if it existed, was as much a mystery to him as the box itself. Wesley scrambled to rank ank under Fernandez's watchful eye, trying to make sense of the demand for the key. Wesley felt the weight of the situation as he searched for a key he knew nothing about, with Fernandez's patience wearing thin. It was a strange, intense treasure hunt, with his freedom hanging in the balance. Every corner of the tank he checked and every minute that passed seemed to push his chances of getting out of this mess further away. While Wesley dug through the tank, it dawned on him that he was sifting through a treasure trove of history. Yet the police were interested in only one thing. The irony wasn't lost on him. The past mysteries and stories were secondary to the present dilemma. His discovery had the potential to be monumental, but all that mattered now was the elusive key. As Wesley uncovered various artifacts within the tank, his amazement grew. Each item told a story, hinting at the tank's rich past. However, the pressing need to find the key overshadowed his wonder. Just when Wesley felt his energy waning, voices from outside the tank momentarily halted their frantic search. Wesley and Fernandez suddenly stopped their frantic search as they realized others were approaching. They quickly hid, hearts pounding, understanding the gravity of being caught in their clandestine hunt. Peeking from their hiding spot, Wesley and Fernandez watched two sketchy figures in hoodies slip into the tank. One of the hoodie-clad figures pulled out a key, laughing at the supposed incompetence of the police. Wesley and Fernandez exchanged a glance, the importance of the key instantly understood. As the two intruders talked, they unknowingly revealed more about the mysterious box in their stash. Wesley and Fernandez listened intently, absorbing every word. The irony wasn't lost on Wesley, most the prime suspect, and now he held the key to unraveling the case. Without warning, Fernandez leapt into action, his gun drawn and aimed at the unsuspecting thieves. Wesley, caught up in the moment, lunged forward, managing to trip them up. It was a chaotic scramble, but Fernandez's training kicked in, and within moments, the would-be criminals were on the ground, subdued. With the thieves quickly cuffed and under control, Fernandez and Wesley escorted them back to the police car. The ride to the station was a mix of adrenaline and relief for Wesley. Back at the station, the anticipation was palpable as they prepared to open the mysterious box. With a click, the lid swung open, revealing a diamond necklace of incredible beauty and apparent value. Wesley watched, amazed, as the officers examined the piece, its significance immediately clear. It was a historic find, stolen and hidden away by the very thieves they'd just apprehended. Investigation revealed the necklace to be a high-profile item stolen from a wealthy family, making the discovery even more significant. The tank, an unlikely hiding spot, had been chosen by the thieves to stash their loot. Wesley watched as the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, the story unfolding like a detective novel with the tank and its contents at the center. With the real criminals caught and the stolen necklace recovered, Wesley found himself suddenly in the clear. The accusations and suspicions that had clouded his day vanished, replaced by a sense of achievement. His unexpected role in solving the case turned him into an overnight hero, a status he'd never aspired to but now held. And under the pressure of capture, the thieves couldn't keep their secret any longer. They confessed to the heist, detailing how they'd stashed the stolen goods in the tank. This confession was the key that unlocked Wesley's innocence, clearing his name completely. Wesley's unexpected involvement in solving the case didn't go unnoticed. To his surprise, he was awarded a medal for his accidental heroics. The ceremony, small but significant, marked his transition from a suspect to a celebrated helper. Wesley, who had started his day as just another hiker, found himself honored for contributions he never intended to make. The tank, once abandoned and forgotten in the mountain, was given a new lease on life. Pulled from its hidden spot, it was carefully restored and eventually placed in a war museum. This transformation gave the tank a place of honor, allowing it to tell its story and the stories of those who served in it. It became a tangible piece of history, appreciated by those looking to connect with the past. Wesley made it a point to visit the museum, standing in front of the tank that had so dramatically changed his life. It stood as a reminder of his incredible journey from an innocent hiker to an accidental hero. The museum visit was bittersweet, a mix of nostalgia for the adventure and gratitude for the outcome. It was a moment of reflection on how unpredictable life can be, and how ordinary moments can lead to extraordinary stories.